Yes, we're live. Okay. I did this right again. Hi, everybody. Oh wow, I just had a total brain fart. Hi, hello, welcome to Side Quest Cocktail Hour. I am Weebo. This is Polly. Say hi, Polly.
Hello.
I apologize. I am having an absolute brain farty of a day, and I think that's just because I've had like an absolutely stupid weekend.
What happened?
Uh, well, it's like stupid in a good way. I went to go visit Caleb Balick, my college friend,
Mm-hmm.
and his fiance
Mm-hmm.
down in the middle of nowhere, Indiana. Although they'll
Mm-hmm.
say that it's only the second biggest city in Indiana, so it's like, it's like a big deal, I guess. Anyway, so we visited and we we spent an obnoxious amount of time watching trash reality TV, and has given me some perspectives.
Okay.
You ever watch trash reality TV? First off,
On occasion, yeah, sure. Yep.
okay, like so, what exactly have you watched?
I watched the one about uh, so-called "quote unquote" real moonshiners finding um I was made to watch Bachelorette or whatever a few times.
Bachelor or
That's all I can remember.
Bachelorette?
What?
Bachelor or Bachelorette? Because they're very different shows.
Bachelorette.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Um. Okay. So then you're familiar with the reality television aspect to some degree, but are you truly familiar with like absolutely stupid reality television? Holy fuck. I'm having a struggle today.
Probably not.
No? Okay. So, Caleb's girlfriend introduced me, or fiance, introduced me to the show called Too Hot to Handle. And essentially, the premise is you get a whole bunch of really, really horny 20 something year olds um, who are like having gratuitous sex all over the place, all of the time, just because they can, because they're like really hot or whatever. And you put them on a paradise island and you give them a pot of gold, like $100,000 that they all will collectively take home, like split evenly between them. And then you say you can't have sex or do anything sexual with each other for the duration of your stay on the island. And every single time that you like have an infraction, it takes away from that collective pot, and then you see what happens.
Okay.
And first off, okay, the premise is like funny, I think, personally, just because I'm a little bit in that evil, chaotic sphere when it comes to people sometimes. Like, I like to push buttons. Like, if I see a big red button, I'm gonna push it. But at the same time, it's a very interesting study on these kinds of people and how they interact, even though I know it's reality television. It boggles my mind that this kind of person probably does actually exist, and that there was very little direction given by any producer at any point in time to get some of the reactions and one-liners that you get throughout the entirety of the show. So,
Okay.
for instance, when they were introducing themselves on the camera, I kid you not, one of the ladies on the show, she goes and she names off every single guy that is currently on the show. It's like 5 guys, 5 girls. And she goes, I want to lick his body, to each and every single one of them without laughter or irony. And I was just like, and I know that it sounds ridiculous, but I can't help but think, based off of the character study that I've been doing of people, based off of what I've been seeing through the lens of the internet, which I know is super skewed, that there is some truth to that in reality. So it's not like that divorced from reality. There are people out there that do that thing, because I've met them in real life too, and I was not impressed.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay. People of what sort? Like, just outspoken body, what, like BOW, whatever the fuck, BAW, whatever the fuck they trash talking fucking whores. Is that what the fuck you're saying?
Single-minded. So
Okay.
singularly minded.
Okay.
Like, not looking for any sort of emotional depth whatsoever. Single-minded. Like, instant gratification single-minded. Like, they can't even go an entire month without doing anything sexual to get $10,000 for themselves. Single-minded.
Huh.
That was, like, what that all wrapped up to be.
Now, what you were watching a whole bunch of this. Did you get through to the end to see who was actually able to whatever?
No, I only watched like
No.
3 episodes. We did other things other than watch trash reality TV show. That was just kind of
Glad
like
to hear that.
what we did in the morning. And then once our morning was done, we went off and like we played mini golf and we went to the arcade and we did laser tagging, which I absolutely dominated. Um, we did bowling, you know, stupid stuff, but like fun stupid stuff that you would do with friends that builds camaraderie with people because it's fun competition and whatnot.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Did a lot this weekend actually. It was a very good weekend. I had a very big burrito, and then I watched that movie Midsummer, which is
And what's
like
that?
It's like a daytime horror movie. It's about a Swedish cult that every 90 years has to make 9 blood sacrifices to their deities. But that's not introduced into like the premise until at the very end of the movie. The lead up to that reveal is essentially the realization on the part of the main character female that her relationship is like completely broken down and that she needs to like cut ties, and the way that she does that is so over the top. Because she just kind of signs off on her ex-boyfriend getting burnt alive. So it's, oh, spoiler alert, by the way, burnt alive for the sake of the midsummer celebrations.
You mean she finds out that her boyfriend's gonna get burned alive, and she's like, "Yeah, that's cool."
No, so you don't mind if I spoil it for you, do you?
Not particularly.
Okay, no, so they show up to the commune as like guests because their friend who was part of the commune, he kind of went on his own like Rumspringa kind of adventure in grad school, and he's returning home with his friends, and one of his friend's girlfriend, Danny is her name, and they show up at the commune for the Midsummer Celebration Festival, which is like a 9-day celebration with like feasting and like they crown the May Queen, and it's supposed to be a culturally immersive experience for the crowd. And
Okay.
The information that you get at the very beginning is that Danny just lost her entire family due to a double homicide suicide by her sister of their parents. So that's like super heavy. She's dealing with that, and her boyfriend isn't the most supportive guy in the world, but she's got to moderate all of her emotions about that because she thinks that he's going to like just check out of the relationship or just leave because she's just trauma dumping all of this on him because, you know, she's trying to depend on him because that's her guy for the last 3 years, and he's like not about that. Anyway, so she goes to the festival with her boyfriend and his friends, and they're there, and I think it's like the second day that they're there, they witness the 2 oldest members of the community essentially commit ritual suicide by jumping off a cliff, and that's like their first sign that something is amiss.
Gotcha.
So then the rest of the movie after that is like every character slowly disappearing, or being disappeared by the community, oh so subtly, and things going slightly awry, and it all leads up into this one moment where she gets crowned the May Queen, and in the moment that she is crowned the May Queen, he gets recruited and confirmed to go off and mate with one of the other members of the commune who's just aged into that role. And then she goes off to bless the crops. So there's like two fertility rituals going on right here. It is very weird on the one hand, and slightly normal on the other hand, because she's like just planting a whole bunch of seeds, and he's planting a whole bunch of seeds. And then she comes back from planting a whole bunch of seeds, and then she goes and she witnesses him planting a whole bunch of seeds, and she freaks the fuck out because she, like, it all comes to like she realizes that her boyfriend's an asshole at that moment, and she's like been moderating her her emotions the whole way, so she has like a complete meltdown. And that was the funniest part of the whole movie, is because all of the other commune members that aren't currently doing the fertility ritual with the guy are like just heavy breathing and screaming with her as she's freaking out, and it is the most surreal view I've ever seen. Just a whole bunch of women on their knees going ah, 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 at each other. And then and so then the guy comes to his senses, because he's like half in a really weird state. They drugged him a little bit, but they've also put a love spell on him because they believe in that. And then he hops out of the ritual when he finishes planting his seed, and he goes, oh shit, I fucked up. And then he starts running around the commune naked, in a haze and daze, and he accidentally stumbles upon one of the other missing visitors, who is very obviously been mutilated in some way. And then he gets knocked the fuck out and paralyzed. And then the May Queen is the main character. She's sitting on the stage in like this dress full of flowers, and she has to decide who the 9th sacrifice is to the gods for that season in their 90-year long ritual or whatever. So they had 4 members from their community, 4 members from the outside community, and the 9th member can be anyone who the May Queen decides. And she goes, I want it to be my ex-boyfriend. And so then they sew him up into a dead bear carcass, and then burn him and the rest of the sacrifices in this fun little yellow pyramid. It's very like, it was a funny horror movie, but not in like the Scream funny way. It was funny in the, well, that's a head turner.
You watched this on a streaming service, I'm assuming? You didn't go to a theater to see it?
No, I watched it on a streaming service. We watched it because we're very talky moviegoers, like, you know, how we are. So we couldn't do this in a theater. We'd have to do it at home, and so we did it in the Airbnb living room that we had rented.
Nice.
Yeah. It was a very strange horror movie, but I quite enjoyed it. And it's probably one that I'll want to watch again, because there's a lot of hidden symbols and meanings that on an initial watch you don't quite get. And then when you go back, you're like, oh, that was some foreshadowing there.
What is the last movie you saw in the theater?
I was going to say Top Gun Maverick, but I think it was Bullet Train, actually. But I think I might have also blocked that out because I watched it with my mother. Is
that tense, huh?
Well, have you seen Bullet Train?
No, I have not.
I thought it was just going to be a fun action movie. It turns out it's a really fun action movie. All the swearing, all the gratuitous violence, all of the, not just gratuitous, but like bloody, gory violence that you could possibly want. And I took my mother to see that at my own suggestion.
How'd she I take it she didn't react well.
Well, she's also a very talky moviegoer person, and so she made it known in the theater. We're sitting in the front row, in the handicap section, because she's got a wheelchair. So I'm sitting next to her, and she's like, she's not even whispering about it, but she goes, oh, that's inappropriate. I'm like, shh, Mom! You can't do that. And I didn't, I should have known. But I didn't think that it would be as bad as it was. Because I know my mom, and I know how she reacts to those kinds of movies. I didn't think that the movie was going to be that bad. But I also didn't think that she was going to be that loud. So it was a perfect storm, I guess you could say. At least when I take my grandmother to the theaters, you know, she's just kind of sitting there silently watching it. Every once in a while she goes, but like it's silent because she knows how to go to the freaking theater. I'm a hypocrite because I don't do that. Anyway, so that was my weekend. How was your weekend? It's not technically over, is it? Because we still have Labor Day.
Yeah, still in progress.
Yeah.
I'll let you know after the whole thing's over, and we'll see how that goes.
Alrighty. Fair enough. You got any plans for Labor Day?
Sort of. Nothing too spectacular. Classic Labor Day stuff. Yourself? You doing a cookout? You doing a last cookout of the season kind of thing? I know some people see it that way.
No, actually, I think I'm spending Labor Day all by my little lonesome. A
Why is that?
boyfriendo's off in Greece.
Oh,
seeing his
right.
family. My family went up to Wisconsin for the weekend, and I don't feel like I want to go all the way up to Wisconsin for 3 hours just to turn around and come back home for another 3 hours, because it's a 3-hour drive. So I'm just gonna, I think I'm gonna, like, maybe, I don't know what to do with myself when I have free time. I think maybe I'll be productive and, like, get my video shit done, because I've been procrastinating that all summer.
I was going to say, I don't know. You seem like somebody who's pretty, I mean, maybe initially I can see you having trouble possibly coming up with something to do, but you seem to be able to fill your time quite well.
I do, but I do suffer from that procrastination bug where if I know I have to get something done, I'll do everything else before it, and then I'll run out of time to do the thing, and I'll be like, oh, well, I guess I just won't do the thing, or I'll wait until next weekend to do it when I have time again. I seem to be doing that a lot, and I catch myself doing that a lot, and I know I shouldn't be, but I'm not perfect, and my willpower is only so much, you know? So I really should do something productive tomorrow with my time, and I'm gonna try to. I don't know how it's gonna work out, though. Because, like, I have video ideas that I want to get knocked out. I have some Nameless Thief little bits that I want to knock out, too. Because we did the whole rebranding thing, but I haven't, like, I've scripted a whole bunch of shit, but I haven't actually put together anything solid and concrete for it yet. So I need to get that squared away. Plus, I'm way overdue a video, and I have, like, so many things in the pipeline. I just haven't made any significant moves on them yet. That's my own fault.
You could just, you know, I don't know if productivity needs to be a thing. You could just, excuse me.
Isn't it?
Excuse me. You could just day drink the whole day, watch terrestrial TV or movies you've been putting off. I'm sure you've got a number in queue that you'd like to see.
I do, and I have, and I could.
Feeling that drive towards productivity, though, huh?
I need to. And I'll feel guilty about it if I don't. Plus, it's a day that I have off, and I can slack off next weekend when El Boyfriendo's home finally.
Fair enough.
Probably should stop trying to induct Weebo into our lifestyle. She isn't ready, says Sam. You just want me to be like you, don't you? Ah!
Well, you know what you could do?
What could I do?
you could be productive and day drink at the same time by trying to concoct a new recipe, a
Right.
awesome sequel to the dreamsicle.
You know, you're not wrong. I found this peach pineapple orange juice, or not orange juice at the store the other day, and I was gonna make it into like a knockoff peach Bellini, but I don't have any champagne left, so I could put some Malibu rum in it, and it could be, I don't know what it would taste like, because the reason it's called the orange dreamsicle is because it tastes like an orange dreamsicle, but it's basically the same recipe, just a different type of juice. So I could try that. Do I have
Yeah,
Malibu
I
rum?
mean, keep fucking around. You never know. There could be like a whole family of dreamsicles.
Right. And if I drink while I'm creative, for whatever reason, things just flow more naturally, you know? Like I feel looser with my thoughts.
Huh. There you go.
That's
Productivity combined with day drinking. It's a
yeah.
fucking win-win.
Cat, I'm gonna hold you until you get annoyed by this, alright? She missed me. She's been lonely all weekend, even though she has a whole other cat to keep her company. She needs mama.
What movies do you have in your personal queue?
In my personal queue?
Uh-huh.
Um, well, no movies currently that. Oh, actually, yes, movies currently. I have a whole list. What am I talking about? I have a whole list. Alright, let me find my notes. I keep them in my notes. Ow! Can I help you, madam? Wrong notes. I have two notes. Notes. Movies. I have two movie lists. What the fuck? I'll go with the most recent one. I'm supposed to watch. Okay. Yeah, I have two movies lists. So which one do you want to hear first?
What are the distinctions of the two lists? I'm sorry.
One's older and one's newer.
Are they like 50 title long lists or what?
So I think one was one that I created with my old phone,
Uh-huh.
and then I lost it, and now I
Uh-huh.
found it. And the other one I think is one that I created when I couldn't find the old movie list.
Okay, didn't really answer the question, but that's fine. Go ahead. Just shoot them both off. Let's start with the old one.
Oh,
We'll go
there's
chronologically.
okay. Oh gosh, are you sure about that? Are you sure about that?
What would be the concern?
It's so freaking long.
Oh my God. That's why I asked how long they were. Fuck.
Okay.
Christ in a manger.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I how about the newer one? Is it shorter?
Oh yeah, much shorter.
Then let's do the newer one.
Okay, alright, fine. Jeez. Um, Hustle,
Right?
Godzilla. I'm not sure which one I meant by that though. Tolkien, 1917.
Okay, so Tolkien.
Yeah.
Is that the name of the movie, or you just want to watch like the Lord of the Rings trilogy plus
No, it's
Hobbitisms?
so. I believe Tolkien is the name of the movie based off of J.R.R. Tolkien's life, or life as a soldier, or life leading up to writing the books.
Oh no shit.
I think. I'm not 100% sure on the premise. I just know that I enjoyed the idea of it, which is why I wrote it down.
Okay. I haven't heard of it. Interesting. Interesting.
Gemini Man, which I don't remember what that was about.
That's two Will Smiths for the price of one,
Mm, okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. 21 Bridges. I think that was a heist movie. Or maybe it was... it was definitely an action movie. But I think it was like set on an island, and they had to close down the island, so they just close down 21 bridges. But other than that, I'm not sure on the premise.
Well, you said heist movie, so I'm just
I think, but I'm not
making
sure.
a list.
Ad Astra. I have no fucking clue why I put that down. I don't remember what it's about at all.
21 Bridges of Madison County. Yeah, that's right. It's elderly love, but more. Okay. All right. So, okay. I'm sorry. What was the Astra one?
Ad Astra. A-D Astra.
I don't know about that one either.
Don't Let Go.
Is the tagline for Ad Astra? Or that's another movie.
No, that's another movie.
Okay.
Midway.
What are you not supposed to let go of?
I don't know what I'm supposed to let go of.
Romance, hold on to your love, or don't let go because it's like...
I think it's a romance.
You're like Hans at the end of... whatchamacallit?
Yeah, don't let go because you're going to fall to your death.
Because you're going to fall to your death, yeah. Right. Hans Gruber, that's his name. I remember the movie. Die Hard, there, for fuck's sake.
There
Hold on,
go,
Hans.
Got it. Midway is next.
Midway.
I think that's a war movie.
Sounds like it could be about carnies.
I think it's a war movie.
Okay, Midway. Oh, the Battle of Midway. Ah, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I already watched Birds of Prey, so wow, this is an old list. Jungle Cruise. Oh, I watched that too. That was a good movie. That's a fun, like, family-friendly movie.
Oh, Midway's a 4-hour movie according to Snoopy. So it's going to be an epic, like, whatchamacallit? The place with the thing, with the guy where he does the thing and then the planes come in and go boom. You know.
Yeah, that one.
Ben Affleck's in it.
That one. Yep, you got it.
No, it was Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor.
I can't remember if I've ever seen that. Like, I've seen...
No, if you haven't.
Okay. You don't, like... I think I've explained this before, but I've seen clips from movies, and then I've seen whole movies, and sometimes if I've seen a movie too long ago, I can't remember if it was the movie that I saw or just a few clips from the movie that I saw. And so I can't remember if I actually saw the movie or if I just saw clips. So I'm not sure if I've seen the whole movie
Of Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's say you had seen it, and you don't remember large swaths of it. I don't think any reasonable person could blame you.
Is it that forgettable?
In my opinion. Well, because it's not really about Pearl Harbor, and I get it. It's like, how do you do Alien versus Predator? What the fuck do the humans do? Stand there and watch or die?
Right.
Well,
it's like the Titanic.
Yeah, you know, it has to be. Titanic's a better example. Yes, it has to be about the people on the Titanic. Pearl Harbor has to be the people stationed at Pearl Harbor, right? You know, because your planes coming in, they go boom, ships explode and sink. Goddamn Japanese imperialists, and then and thing. But what the movie's really about is a love triangle between Ben Affleck, some guy, and some other woman.
Why though? Why?
Well, I don't know.
Did they just see that Titanic and go, it worked there, we could do it here too?
I didn't think of that, but yes.
That seemed like the obvious explanation, though.
Pearl Harbor, but from the Japanese perspective. Yeah. Now there's a movie I'd actually watch. Yeah.
That would be an interesting view, I will say.
Go on.
Countdown. That's definitely got... That sounds like an action movie. I think it sounds like an action movie with probably some sort of bomb MacGuffin in it. Maybe.
Or maybe it's the nuclear bombs are going to be launched at any minute. Nuclear winter is incoming. We're all going to die. So the whole movie's about a love triangle.
So the whole movie's... That can be for any of these, though. Like, underwater, mermaid, falls in love with human on the surface world, but there's some sort of nuclear Armageddon going on. And
yeah, Tora, good call, Snoopy. Yeah.
She's been promised to the prince of another warring mermaid colony under the sea. I don't know.
Now that I would be interested in.
Really?
Yeah, Black Ariel fighting the good fight. I was at work yesterday. No one wants to hear that story. Okay, so on with your list.
Wait, no, I'm curious. The list is almost over. We have to pad the runtime.
What? You've got an older list with over 50 titles on it. We got plenty of runtime.
This is actually...
And besides, this is just this isn't content. This is just me trying to yeet some movie ideas, honestly.
Are you out of movie ideas?
Not really. I've got a pretty extensive queue, but there's all sorts of shit that I sleep on because, I don't know, I just haven't heard of it. I discover golden gems on occasion and am extremely happy that I did. Like, the last true gem that I discovered, I was like, holy fucking shit. This movie's like, I'd have to look up the year. I think it was 7 years old. And it's like, I didn't even know this fucking thing existed. And it was...
Oh, was it Atonement?
Atonement?
Yeah, the movie that we watched with James McAvoy and Keira Knightley.
Oh, God, that thing.
The most depressing movie you've ever seen.
It really, really was. Like, not overall, but on many levels. Like, it... Holy shit. Thanks for bringing that one up, by the way.
Like I said, button pusher. Serpent21, thank you for the $4.99 over on the Super Chats. Polly, the movie I was going to send you once was Charlie Varick, fantastic heist movie with Walter Matthau.
Oh my God, you zoomer. Walter Matthau, he's a fucking legend.
A new all-time fave for me. I'm sorry.
Actually, probably the movie I was going to send you once was Charlie Varick. I have not heard of this fucking movie. Fantastic movie, which I will look into this. I haven't given, while I've really enjoyed everything I've seen Walter Matthau in, except for the...
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
Oh, shit.
Thank you.
I don't know why it does that.
Charlie Varick is a 1973 American neo-noir crime film. Sold! Thank you very much, Serpent21. I will be procuring it from perfectly legitimate online sources and checking it out. I'll let you know what I think.
Indeed, indeed. It sounds exactly like the kind of thing that you would watch.
No one's a hero.
Countdown
It's
is
a landscape of shades of gray. The rain never stops falling, even when there's no clouds. It's the rain in my heart.
the rain of my soul. It never stops pouring. It is like a cup that never empties.
We should get him to watch The Fountain, Weebo. Is that like a tearjerker, life isn't worth it, depressing level movie?
Let's find out. Because I didn't... Are we talking about... I don't know, actually, The Fountain, the 2006
because
film.
There was this thing, I was talking to Farah the other day, right?
Uh-huh. Yes.
And I forget what movie I was suggesting that she should watch, that we should watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, because if you recall, we watched Copland.
I do recall this, and it was
Right.
very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, Farzuzmi's reaction. Now you have to remember, this is Far. Okay, so you gotta gauge and adjust and calibrate reactions accordingly, right?
Right.
After it was over, Weebo and I just kind of said a few things, 30, 45 seconds of some things. Far, what did you think? And she said, I didn't hate it.
Writing endorsement.
Then you kid. I mean, that was well outside of the what do you want to call it, general style of movie that she watches. And I had asked her, this is like not the kind of style movie you watch. She goes, no, but I'm, willing to give it a shot or whatever. That's a good thing. When, she didn't like it, and there were parts that she liked, and then parts that she didn't like. And the parts that she didn't like were all in universe. How is it that Harvey Keitel's character could be so cold? How is it that Sylvester Stallone's character didn't do something at this point, at that point? You understand what I mean? Like, it wasn't
Right.
production level criticism. It was in story criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he was really that guy, he should have at this point. Like, that's a win in my mind, because you've been drawn in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're vouching for certain people, angry at other people, but of course they're fictional characters. That means you've been drawn in. That's a win. And the example that I gave is like there's other movies to watch along those lines, and you may not like them all, but they're outside of your regular fare, and that was the whole point of the Weebo and Polly movie trade, that we end up watching things that the other one wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because I was brought into a movie where I was like, oh God. I went into it with slunken shoulders and just, all right, let's just get this fucking over with. Like, blind date with an ugly woman. Like, just do it. And it was Coco. It ended up being delightful. It was wonderful. It was heart-tugging. It
Made you
it was
feel
great.
feelings.
Yeah, it made me feel things that meant it's just, we're not supposed to have those feelings.
No, you're supposed to have those feelings. That's why they made the movie in that way, especially the ending part. It's supposed to invoke that emotion from you.
The
So that
ending
red-blooded...
part where he starts fading, but then she
know, yeah.
remembers, and it was like, oh my God. It was this, oh, yeah, that was... Any red-blooded male is going to be punched right in the feels over the father-daughter thing. It's inevitable, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's, yeah, that was, so I really got I wouldn't say a kick, I was about to say, yeah, Coco, was a delightful fucking movie. As far as like, well, a lot of the Pixar style, what have you, animated films are along those lines, that they're going to be enjoyable in that way. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to go through that too many times. Like,
I don't know if Coco really had that effect. And I think like that was specifically intentioned to have that effect. A lot of the Pixar films have high EQ, emotional intelligence, but not exactly in that way, where they're gonna break your heart like that. I don't know. That one just specifically struck a different chord compared to all of the other ones. Like, they're all good, but that one just went, hey, your heartstrings went, oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Whew.
I'm not crying, you're crying. Shut up.
Yeah.
It's supposed to,
Every single time. I was sitting there in the school theater, because we had a movie theater at school, and that was where I watched Coco for the first time with, like, 3 other friends, and I'm bawling my eyes out. And then I watch it another time in the theaters with my family, bawling my eyes out. And then I watched it with you, bawling my eyes out. Every single time it gets me.
yeah.
But it's a good
Well,
movie.
I can understand why. It's,
Mhm.
and that... I've never seen any of the, what are there, 4 Toy Story movies, I believe? 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen one. That was the first Disney Pixar style film that I've seen. I was about to say Prince of Egypt, but no, that's traditional animation with 3D elements to it.
Yeah.
So that's different. Prince of Egypt was great.
Yeah.
I really got a kick out of it. The animation style was awesome. But I just don't watch a lot of animated features. Remember, I'm the guy who's only seen 2 Disney movies.
That's fair. Wait, you don't watch a whole lot of animated stuff?
Not stuff that's safe for children, no.
Wait, but like, you've seen the Justice League animation
Of course.
TV show. Okay. I'm just because
Wait,
I know
okay.
that you said you had, but like then you said I haven't seen a lot of animated stuff, so I'm like, wait, hang on, have you seen them all?
Yeah. No, Scribe, you're right in saying that Prince of Egypt was DreamWorks, not
Mm-hmm.
Man, listen, I'm just gonna outright claim it. I'm a noob and pretty ignorant on this stuff, so it's like I was aware it was made by a different studio, not DreamWorks particularly. That it wasn't Disney Pixar, and I don't know. Haven't Disney Pixar? Did Disney buy Pixar? Or are they separate companies again? Like I said, I have no expertise in this area at all. I'm not trying to pretend otherwise.
There's a joke. There's a joke. It's a reference to the Twisted musical that I showed you about Disney and Pixar. Twisted the musical, Disney Pixar joke.
Serpent mentions Sword in the Stone. I saw a 5-minute clip from that, and it looks like something I'd really enjoy because it seemed very much along the lines of one of the 2 Disney films that I've actually seen, if Sword in the Stone is actually Disney. Robin Hood. Loved Robin Hood when I was a kid. You know, Robin Hood is a fox, that's loved the shit out of it.
Oh, yes. I love that. I remember that movie. I remember being a big Robin Hood fanboy as a kid, too.
Yeah, it was that, and many, 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 many moons later, like 2 years ago, I saw The Great Mouse Detective, because I wasn't aware that it existed, and Chaos Eve, said, well, you're a huge fan of, like, classic Sherlock Holmes. And I said, yeah, absolutely, I'm definitely a Sherlockian. And have you ever heard of The Great Mouse Detective?
Yes.
And she told me about the plot of it, and I'm like, oh, that's really clever. And I went to go get it from perfectly legitimate online sources and then found out it was just on YouTube. Highly illegally just on YouTube. So I just watched it there. And I was like, this is great. I mean, a little mouse Sherlock living in Sherlock's home. This is fucking great. I loved it. It was fun.
Darren Root brings up an excellent point in the chat, and that is Treasure Planet, which is an amazing movie that I'm surprised that you haven't actually seen, because it's one of those like hidden gem movies that shouldn't have been made, but like was made against all odds, and the world is better for having had it been made, So I think I will invoke the right of movie viewing in this agreement that we have and say that's the next movie that we have to watch.
Yeah, I had this idea the other day.
Yeah.
Since Scribe is here, if he actually is still here. I was listening to his opinions on She-Hulk on Sinatra's AAA from 2 weeks ago, so the second last one. And it was, his thoughts were interesting, and then things have come up on Twitter since then. And I know he's a big guy into comic books, and I know he's a big, I don't know if he'd consider himself a cinemaphile, but I would. I don't know. I think we should do some streams because we're both people of strong held opinions, and I've had debates with him on movies that get, spirited and desk punchingly angry, but we stop short of calling each other names, which is great. So I don't know. That's something I thought that I might want to do. It's like, all right, let's talk heist films, or let's talk espionage films, for example, that kind of thing. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Scribe, hit me up.
I believe Scribe thinks that the best movie on the face of this planet is The Hunt for Red October, and like he stands behind that opinion. 100%.
I don't disagree with him. Every time he mentions Hunt for Red October, I'm like, yep, he ain't wrong. Alec Baldwin is not the world's greatest actor, but he brought his fucking A game that time, boy.
Being the best film like ever though, or it's like it's up there for you.
The best film? No, it's not the best film ever. The best film ever is Casablanca. It's the greatest thing ever made by man committed to celluloid, with the greatest actor to ever grace the silver screen, Humphrey Bogart.
So what I'm saying is, I would like to see you guys bring your cases for why each is the best movie, and then argue those points, or like debate those points. I'd like to see that happen.
Yeah, as would I. I remember, so we had this thing where I expressed this opinion that I don't think is terribly controversial, but it was simply that Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, okay, is not a good film, okay, but it is a better film than Dark Knight Rises. That's a very carefully worded statement. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's without flaws, because it's got flaws left, right, and center. But it is a better film than Dark Knight Rises, which does not receive the criticism that Batman v Superman does. Because if we take out the Martha scene, I'm not saying take it out, if we just table the discussion of it.
Yeah, okay.
Now, let's debate. Like, you know what I mean? And we had a spirited discussion on Monkey's channel about it. And I actually did think a lot of his points were interesting. I mean, who wants an agreement fest? You know, it turns into a mutual admiration society when two people are like, oh yeah, it was so fucking great. Didn't you think it was great? I thought it was fucking great. Oh fuck, aren't we great for thinking it was great? We sure are. Like, yay.
Don't ask questions. Just consume the product and get excited for next product.
Yeah. And I don't think either of us are into heavily disposable streaming service originals.
Right.
Some of them are quite good, but I mean the quite disposable ones, so we can avoid that crap. Sam, the term is circle jerk. You're quite right. I don't know how many movie review channels where people are just agree. If you're agreeing with each other, because the point is, like, you know, your movie sucks, and your job is to sit around and just have fun doing some mockery. Obviously, you all agree the movie's worth mocking, but that's a different thing. You know what I mean?
I think everything that transpires in the DC universe, like, I love Henry Cavill. I love him to death. But his Superman has been mischaracterized to hell, in my opinion. Because...
mischaracterized, like, poorly written, or mischaracterized by critics?
Poorly written.
Okay.
And why I think this. So you could do interesting things. Okay, so actually, let me preface this with saying, Superman is the paragon of good. The ideal thing that we think of when we think of hero. Yes, right?
For the purposes of what you're saying here, I agree with you, yes.
Right. That is the interpretation, or the general consensus among people when they think Superman. They think Boy Scout in blue. That's Superman.
Yeah.
That's his characterization.
Yeah.
I think that you can do interesting things with that characterization, because I think the most interesting thing about Superman is what happens. It isn't the fact that he is so ultra over freaking powered that he can just punch his problems right in the face and that's, you know, the end of it. The problems that you can't punch in the face are the ones that make it the most interesting. The ones that cause him actual, like, internal introspection and, like, turmoil are the ones that make him very interesting, story-wise. So, like, I think it's the Justice League episode, The Man Who Had Everything, where he's, like, stuck in the flower dream, having the best life ever that he could always have hoped for, and then he's got to give it up because to save the world and whatnot, or to beat the big bad, to be Superman. I think the Man of Steel movie starts our Superman off at a disadvantage, in a bad place, because it almost makes you think that he's not Superman, in that the whole idea behind the Man of Steel, Henry Cavill's origin story, is that the world doesn't want Superman, and he's not ever given really a reason to embrace that Supermaniness. He just kind of does it because the plot requires it. Like, we're not given the idea that Superman's actually doing this because that's what he believes. He's doing this because the plot requires it.
I see your point.
And
okay,
then...
so Super 21. Here's a good example of what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I didn't say it was a good movie. I'm gonna Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. I didn't think it was a good movie. It was heavily flawed. I think it could have been fixed. Yes, Zack Snyder, much like Quentin Tarantino, needs somebody who he trusts and is willing to listen to say to him no. Or give him advice how a scene might possibly go in a different direction to get at the point of his artistic vision a little bit better than self-indulgent bullshit. Yeah, that sort of thing. And it's like, man, you've already done this scene to demonstrate this point several fucking times already. If you know what I mean. Like where Superman will be rescuing people and people are looking at him as a god and it's running in slow-mo and Superman is looking down on them benevolently with also this look of confusion that I'm not a god. Okay, yeah, how many times in the series in general, in the Zackverse, did that end up, or the Nolanverse, if you want to look at it that way, did that happen? Too many times. It sort of becomes self-indulgent, and I understand you really like that image and that creating those vignettes, but, you know, zero down, do it once, maybe twice, get it over with, move the fuck on, Zach. With that said, here are the points. Serpent 21. Why is Batman killing people? Okay, because he's old grizzled Bruce Wayne. He is well beyond his prime, and he's Frank Miller Bruce Wayne. So does no longer have the compunctions about causing lethal harm to people or maiming them permanently for life because he is so old and grizzled. He has lost a lot of his ethics along the way in that regard. Why is Superman so sour? And killing people? Okay, he's only killing people when he's being thrown through buildings and he's trying to save people, and if anything, he tried to stop the people from being killed in Man of Steel, but I don't know, Zack Snyder's too into mass fucking destruction. It's almost like he's doing a Verhoeven end of world scenario, Independence Day, everything gets destroyed type film. Bro, is a comic book movie, calm the fuck down.
Can I interject
Valid
there?
criticism. Why is Lex a spaz? I have no answer. That is a 100% valid criticism. I'm right on board with you. Fist bump. What the fuck was that? And killing people with piss bombs. Now, the bomb wasn't piss. But I hear your point. That was dumb as fuck. Like, it was meant as a message to the senator that, you know, yeah, etc. Yeah, that was misbegotten. Fuck Hack Snyder. I wouldn't go that far. The guy has done good things. He just, much like Quentin Tarantino, needs someone to tell him to calm the fuck down and stop being so self-indulgent with his filmmaking. That's my call. That's my call. Because there are a whole number of scenes that I can name from Batman v Superman, largely Batfleck, that are epic and awesome as fuck.
So,
and dialogue that is really, really good. The nightmare sequence, like night with a K, mare sequence, I think is fucking awesome. I want to see that movie.
You mean the one
Batman
where
with
it's post-apocalyptic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Batman with the duster, and he's got all these people on his side, and Superman's become this ultra tyrant. It's like Zack Snyder's own extrapolation off of The Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller. This is what's going to happen if we allow Superman to continue on in the path he's chosen. That eventually I have to rule these people to keep a good order, that sort of thing. And it's literally a nightmare. It hasn't happened, but he's, in his old mind, is thinking, my God, unless I do something, this is the way it's going to end, and no. Anyway. See, this is the kind of fucking, you know, and then I'm sure Serpent would have responses, I'm sure Scribe would have responses. I think that's more interesting than, you know, Henry Cavill's hair in this particular scene had a particularly interesting spit curl on his forehead.
Oh, that's so reductionist.
Excuse me?
That's not how they criticize it necessarily, or that's not how they talk about them necessarily. It's not just, you know, talking about Henry Cavill's hair, but they do the proverbial jerking off in no lesser terms. But like it's not just talking about hair. It's like, oh, I really like the characterization. You know, I mean, a little bit more in depth than that.
Sam does say that the it's 1 second. Excuse me. Thank you. Real sneezy tonight. Yeah, it's supposed to just represent a taunt to her because she was the one who had said the thing. It was a background, and of course she only sees it when she's speaking live in front of all of these cameras during session and can't say anything. That this is grandma's tea, and she knows, well, at least has a strong sense of what's coming. And it's an incredible taunt. I think the taunt could have been served just as well by, any number of other means. I mean, Lex does have some good scenes, or good lines. It's just Eisenberg can't deliver them, and he delivers them as Sertman said, as a total fucking spaz.
Yeah, he's not who
You
I
know,
would have picked.
He doesn't have gravitas. He's not credible in the role. He's playing Tech Valley genius that decides to take over the world. It's like Mark Zuckerberg combined with
Elon Musk.
actual real world Bond villain guy. What's his name?
Elon Musk?
No. Davos, Switzerland. I want to, fund a bunch of DAs, and Open Borders is the name of his Open Society rather is the name of his. Yeah, George Soros.
Okay.
Yeah. Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor is a combination of fucking, either Zuckerberg or any other tech fool you can think of, and Soros.
Yeah, I would say that
Not
he's
good.
more like Joker than he is like Luthor, or like how I would imagine Luthor would have been.
You know who I picture Luthor should be a lot more like? If you know the comics or have seen the animated HBO series for Spawn, I picture him a lot more like a Jason Wynn, where he sits in an extremely tall-backed chair planning things. He doesn't have superpowers. What he does have is incredible amounts of resources and a chess mind where he's thinking how to play opponents against each other and end up 5 steps later that nobody saw coming at his end goal.
Right, and you
That's
need that because
Yeah.
Superman's kind of an overpowered boss god thing on this here Earth, and the only way to actually do any damage to him is to hit him right in the feels, essentially, or to
Which I think is a missed opportunity. One of my criticisms of that film that I did have, where you have Batman, what he doesn't have any superpowers, what he's got is, again, a lot of resources, an indomitable will, extremely high intelligence, and the planning and the scheming and the thinking 5 steps ahead. Now, I understand Lex Luthor is a traditional Superman villain, but if you have a film that's Batman v Superman and the main villain of the film, excluding Doomsday, of course, is Lex Luthor, then Bruce Wayne steps in and is like, Clark, let me tell you how to take on fuckers like this, because you don't just punch the problem, if you know what I mean. Like, that
Right.
could have been interesting.
Well,
But
that's the issue. Is I think that we've taken away what makes Superman in that respect. Because he's yes, he could just do the whole like punch the problem in the face, but that wouldn't actually solve anything, and he wouldn't be Superman anymore, right? He could just kill Lex, and that would be the end of it. And he's done that in like really cool thought experiment, like what if scenarios that we've seen play out on the animated screens, and we see how it ends, and that's interesting. But they didn't do that. And they don't have the balls to do that. It's like they want to explore the evil Superman arc without actually going into the evil Superman arc. Like the Superman that doesn't give a shit about collateral damage and the civilian population that he is protecting in that way so much. And I think, like, you either gotta nut up or shut up.
Dave Fulman actually has a good question. Weebo, have you seen the original 78 Superman? The Richard Donner classic.
I don't think so now.
Ooh. Like Superman as, paragon of Smallville virtue. Very well portrayed in that film. And Gene motherfucking Hackman playing Lex Luthor. He plays into the comedic aspects of it because that's the tone of the film, but it's Gene fucking Hackman. The man has never had an inauthentic moment on screen, even when playing a goofy comic book character. It's fucking awesome. So yeah, highly recommended.
1978. Oh, wait! With Christopher Reeves?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I have seen that one. Yes, I know exactly
Okay.
what we're talking about. Okay, I'm sorry. I was like, which one are we talking? Yeah, I have seen
Yeah.
that one. I do enjoy
With the
that one.
greatest villain's lair of all time,
I
in my
know.
humble opinion.
Yes, we've had this conversation because he's got like the
Oh yeah, that's right, we
bookshelf
did.
with the stairs. I don't know why I didn't think that it was that one, but okay.
Yeah. He's just got an old school, what I guess early 1900s train station far, far underground that he's adapted and appropriated as his lair. Love it. I remember I was talking about this now. He's got the library with the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't want a library with a rolling ladder?
I'm sorry. I want a library with a rolling ladder. That's like my dream.
Well, sure.
It's my
Every sane person does.
office dream. But it only works if the office is like curved.
Yeah, but he does have that, and
He
and
does.
then Otis, his bumbling sidekick, is like he names something that he didn't want Otis to move the ladder, and Otis just kind of drags it, and Lex is left hanging from the top shelf, and there's the comedic elements, playing into it again. But yeah, it was fun, very fun.
You know,
And you get to hear Gene Hackman yell again and again, "Miss Tessmacher!"
yes. Gosh, we should watch that movie.
You know what we could do?
What could we do?
Because the multi-part thing, right? We could watch Superman 1, 2, 3, and then go back and watch Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut, which is very, very significantly different than Superman 2, the theatrical version, because Richard Donner left it halfway, and so they filmed a whole bunch of different scenes, and so the Richard Donner cut, while having a lot of the same footage in it, it's the original Zack Snyder cut to Justice League, that kind of jazz.
Right. Where does Superman Returns fall in this at all?
Say it again, I'm sorry?
Superman Returns. The one where they had to replace Christopher Reeves.
Yeah,
Is that 4?
no, 4 is Quest for Peace.
Okay, so then what's...
Which is so bad it's good. We should watch it. The green screen is terrible. The repeated not CGI, but special effects, optical effects that they used. The villain that they made up, that John Cryer, Lex Luthor's nephew, oh, it's awful. It's just awful. Superman's going to solve all the problems in the world, and you haven't lived, in terms of bad movies, until you've seen Superman collect all the ICBM and other short-range atomic missiles into a giant space net, spin them around like the hammer throw in the Olympics, and hurl them into the sun.
We should just do a Superman, marathon as our next marathon.
Daniel Pullman asks, which one had Richard Pryor? That would be number 3.
So, the Superman continuity for that era, where that... Because it's all... Is it the same continuity? Is it the same... What's the word I'm looking for?
Continuity?
Franchise?
What was the word you just said?
Continuity? Franchise?
Oh, franchise is what you said there. Yes. The
universe. Is it the same movie universe? There we go. That's the word I'm looking for.
Sort of. I'm actually confused, legitimately, on where Superman Returns, if it's supposed to fall in the same continuity as the Snyder/Nolan verse. I don't know. I don't know if they're... I haven't actually been certain on that. I could have found out, but it's one of those things where you keep thinking of doing and you never get around to it.
Well, let's find out. Oh, you can't see that. Because of course not. Universe. The canon of the... In the canon of the CW's multiverse, Superman Returns world was designated Earth 96, and Routh's Superman played a key role in the crisis. In fact, the movie Superman was designated as the paragon of truth. One of the... No. That's not what I'm looking for. Where...
Or Superman 21, rather, excuse me. Superman Returns, I'm told, takes place after 2, which means 3 and 4, you know, get knocked out of that continuity, which is not the worst thing in the world.
Okay. 6th and final installment in the original Superman film series and serves as an homage sequel to Superman 1978 and Superman 2 1980 while ignoring the events of Superman 3 1983, Supergirl 1984, and Superman 4 The Quest for Peace 1987. So they just...
Supergirl. Have you ever seen that?
No, is it bad?
It's pretty goddamn bad.
Oof.
She's, you know, she's Superman's cousin, and there's this super magic ball that runs their city, the Omicron Thadon Urim and Thummim device. I don't know.
Oh boy.
It's what runs their city, and she's fucking around with it, and it ends up exploding through their atmosphere and landing on Earth. So Supergirl has to leave inner space, where everyone else lives in outer space. Not really sure what the distinction is there, but whatever. And so she's got to go to Earth to get it back. And so what does she do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, naturally, she enrolls in a girls' school and engages in all kinds of hijinks with the other girls who hate her. So it turns into Mean Girls at college for like half an hour.
Oh boy.
And if that magic spherical Urim and Thummim from space or whatever the fuck falls into the hands of an actual witch who uses it to dominate the world, to destroy her enemies, to give herself superpowers? No. To seduce some random guy that she saw working at a construction site on a tree. But the guy, of course, falls in love with Supergirl, thus pissing her off, and yeah, on
the
it goes.
rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah.
So,
but I do have the international version of Supergirl with an additional 11 minutes.
Does the 11 minutes add anything substantive to the original work?
I don't know. I'd have to watch the original work. I've only seen the extended one.
Ah, okay. So, if you were to do a marathon of the Superman movies, would you do 1, 2, and then Returns? Would you do 1, 2, 3, Supergirl, 4, and then Returns? Like, what order do you think would be best?
See, I think it's important to see the theatrical and then the Donner cut of Superman 2, because they are so very different. But you don't really want to watch them back to back, if you know what I mean, because you're going to see some of the same footage and then some of the not, if you know what I mean. So I'm not really sure what order to do them in, but let's just forget about that for a second. It would definitely be 1 and then 2, and then I would like to watch Superman Returns.
Well,
and then
if it's a homage serving thing to Superman 1 and Superman 2, and then it's supposed to like fit there in the continuity, hypothetically speaking.
Yeah.
Does the original cut versus the daughter cut have something in it that leads you to believe that Superman had to go away for a while? Or is that just, we glossed over that wasn't on screen, but pretend like we all know what happened?
I don't recall anything specific from Superman 2, from either theatrical or Donner cut. And from, someone correct me if I'm wrong, I only saw Superman Returns once, and it was, it was just sort of like, Superman is off on another planet helping people. Like that was it. And then it's like, is he going to return? He's going to return, and then he returns.
From what I remember, I think he went off to go see if Krypton had survived at all, because there was like rumor from scientists on Earth observing space that they had seen it or something. So he was like, I have to go check real quick. So I'm
I'll be right back.
Right. Oh, you'll be right back?
No.
Oh,
Superman will be
Superman.
right
Yeah.
back.
Superman's like, I'm gonna be right back. And then he just leaves for 6 years. And in that time, Lois has their love child, which he didn't know about until he comes back. And then...
Yeah. There was kicking his baby's due, punching right through the wall of her womb. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that happened. And then he comes back. He's like, no Krypton. Womp womp. But that begs the question of, what if Clark had found Krypton?
Well,
Like,
he's
what if
not in the
it
movies.
had
He
survived?
doesn't because as hold on. Saw somebody said it. The Bottle City of Kandor they brought up. It doesn't come up in the movies, and no, that's not where Supergirl's coming from. Although they could have easily made it since they had made it such that she was just inside. So you get Brainiac shrinking down the city of Kandor from Krypton and keeping it for himself. And so that's always been a thing inside the Superman mythos lore, that there's the Bottle City of Kandor with a whole bunch of Kryptonians in it, and Superman on occasion will shrink down and go inside there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's also the one of the main plot points of The Dark Knight Returns Part 3, The Master Race, highly underrated.
Yeah.
Another Frank Miller classic.
So...
But Superman 3, you're right. Superman 3 is that. So in my opinion, it should go like this. You asked. So Superman 1, Superman 2, Donner cut probably just to make it simple. Superman 3, no. Superman Returns, and then Superman 3, just so we can see Richard Pryor doing his thing.
Okay.
And see drunk, angry, oily Superman fighting Clark Kent.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
I need to fix
Thank
that.
you for your
That's gonna drive
patronage.
me fucking nuts.
Thank you.
Thank you from Serpent21 for the $1.99. Superman 78 has an extended cut on Blu-ray. Ooh. Did you know
Hold
that,
on.
Paul?
Let me open a tab. I'm going to seek that out. Thank you for letting me know. I was unaware.
So, but, like, okay, so the Bottle City of Kandor, there is existing Kryptonians in a bottle, shrunk down, that he can just kind of hang out with on a whim. But I mean, like, okay, say the Bottle City didn't exist, okay?
Yep.
Hypothetically. This
Yep.
is hypothetical, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Scientists discover Krypton actually survived the cataclysmic event that supposedly should have ended it.
Huh?
Superman finds this out. Does Superman abandon Earth, go to Krypton, or does he stay and continue his work as Superman?
I personally think that he would stay. Well, you know what? I don't know. It depends on how Zack Snyder about the whole thing you want it to be, because superhero deconstruction is such a thing nowadays. If you can't deconstruct a superhero, what's the fucking point?
Mm-hmm.
The way they see it. Superman, he would have stayed just because, as his father instructed him, these people need you. You're not to interfere, but you can help, etc. And with your great power, you can. There's things you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Fight for truth, justice, the American way, and so forth. Or truth, justice, and universal freedom without borders, as the people in Davos would have us believe. Personal truth, social justice, and the Davos way. and the new reset way. Yes.
The new world order.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that he would stay on Earth, but not because of that specifically, but I think because his upbringing was so instructive in the man that he ended up becoming. His humanity is the thing that makes him Superman, and it's something that is very treasured to him. And I think that because of that, one, he's Superman, but two, I think that would keep him tied to Earth.
Yeah, so do I. I mentioned the deconstruction thing because it would be all about, in my opinion, Superman doesn't want to leave Earth because if he just goes back to Krypton or goes inside the bottle city of Kandor, he doesn't have superpowers anymore. And it would be all about, well, I'm just a regular dude. Fuck this, yo. And it would be like a battle with him and his own ego, and he would ultimately choose the superpowered route rather than non.
Yeah, but that's not clever. And not that character, like, in any capacity. I mean, like, you could do interesting things with Superman that divert from canon in a drastic way. Like, I believe I've heard Superman Red Sun does this, in that they place him, like, what if Clark had crashed down in the Soviet Union instead of America?
Sure, Red Sun.
Right.
Great story.
So, like, it follows that storyline trajectory, you know, up until, I believe, a certain point when...
He realizes communism is inherently evil.
Right.
Yeah.
And, does away with that mindset. But, like, you can do interesting things.
Oh, Sam is off because he's got a migraine. All right, see you later, Sam. Thanks for coming.
Good night.
Zed Hero says Superman is a variation on Doc Savage. Not a... I would tend to agree with that. He kind of is.
Doc
It's like,
Savage.
yeah, he's an old school comic book character. He was all things. His nickname at a certain point was Superman. The notion of we must go out there and do, like, True Justice the American Way, that idea of having a tagline mission statement along those lines is very much along the lines of Doc Savage, except Doc Savage's statement was longer and more detailed. We must act with honor in all things and do right things by our fellow man, and so on and so forth. It's like, yeah, Superman, a lot of the ideas were pulled from Doc Savage. It's like, he could leap over tall buildings in a single bound, and his powers and whatnot, and that he's an alien landed on Earth. There's the Schuster and I forget the other guy, the other creator's contributions in terms of his personality and how he acts and what he does. It's Doc Savage all the way. Yeah.
You know what I think we've lost in terms of comic book movies, just in general, not like specific to Superman. But in general, I think that with the gravity that we have been amplifying each movie to be, like, we have to raise the stakes each movie phase. Specifically, this is with regards to the MCU. But I guess, you know, the DCEU also, or the DCU also has this issue, is like the stakes keep getting heightened and heightened and heightened, and we're losing sight of what, like, actually is compelling about superheroes, and that is this idea of them, you know, being people, saving other people, being decent people, saving other people, that grounds them in the reality of what creates them in the first place. Because it's gotten to a point where we have not just universal galactic consequences, but we have interdimensional galactic consequences, and it's like, holy crap, how do we even conceptualize this? Like, the the idea of just, like, saving an old lady from getting mugged on the street is just so divorced from the reality of what is an actual superhero movie nowadays, in that you couldn't imagine, let's see, I don't know, just any superhero.
I mean, Superman literally
nowadays
saves a little girl's cat from a tree. It's Superman 78.
Yes. And you couldn't have that scene
and then the
today.
mother assaults the child.
Oh.
I'm not even kidding. If you watch it, I've always found that funny. Even since I was a little kid, I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, Superman comes down. She's like, "Kitty, come down." Superman kind of floats down as he does with the awesome wire work from '78. They made it look really good. Like, you know, the wires suspending him, and he grabs the kitty and he takes it down to her, and he goes, "Well, you know, have a good night," and he flies off. And she runs in and goes, "Mom, a man flew out of the sky and saved the kitty out of the tree." And she goes, "What did I tell you about lying?" And you hear smack. And it's like, holy shit! What? You should have saved her from the abusive alcoholic mother, not the cat would have come down when it was hungry. I mean, tempted down with some tuna or something. Fuck.
Right. Okay. Well, that part aside, I
Uh-huh.
don't think that you could ever conceivably see a scene like that so humanizing in a superhero movie today.
Yeah.
It's all spectacle. It's all grandiosity. It's all bigger and bigger and better, and oh my gosh, world-ending stakes, universe-ending stakes, dimensional, and like, holy fucking shit, can we just dial it back a little bit? Okay, I think the most compelling storylines aren't the ones where the entirety of the world is at stake. I think that sometimes you can have a compelling storyline where it's like, hey, your neighborhood is about to have issues. I don't know. Like,
Down at the local neighborhood council meeting, they've decided to put up a new stop sign. It's
not
Superman.
that.
had
Oh
to
my
come
god.
in it.
No, I mean, like,
Midnight in Exile. There it is. Thank you, Siegel and Schuster. Thank you, the co-creators of Superman.
what happened to a good old-fashioned runaway train?
I hear you. If you think about things along the lines of the first Iron Man film, what is the central conflict? That Stark weapons have gotten out of control. They're getting into the wrong hands. Obadiah Stane has become disdainful, pun intended, of having to work for the boy genius when he's the one building the business. You know what I mean? So he becomes, ironmonger. And so the big threat is from his dad's longtime partner and his business CEO of Stark Enterprises, sort of becoming a loon, and I want armor too, and he needs to stop him. That's it. That's the height of and the weapons, his weapons getting into the wrong hands. That's the central conflicts of the movie. That's pretty small scale.
Right.
The multiverse collapsing in on itself with trillions upon trillions of people dead or erased from existence. No, those aren't the stakes. Thor, what are the stakes? Redemption.
Right.
He displayed a whole load of arrogance and was cast to Earth to learn, to become
Humility.
redeemed. Yeah, to learn humility and to gain redemption. And he has to fight a mythical Norse creature that is only threatening that one town, and it's really there to fight him,
Yeah. And
not to
he's
wipe the
there.
town clean off the planet. Yeah, I hear you. That was the problem that everybody had with Star Trek Insurrection, the movie.
Yeah.
It's like, this seems like a Star Trek Next Generation 2-part episode. It doesn't seem big enough for a feature film. Fuck that. It was big enough for a feature film. It's just not every movie has to be about the height of threat, of stakes, of the destruction of the entire Federation and domination of the galaxy, in my opinion.
Yeah. And that's a large part of the reason why I've checked out of the MCU at this point, is because I'm just like, I'm not invested. These are copy paste. Well, it's one of the reasons. There's several reasons. One, I'm not invested in this storyline anymore. I think it came to a natural end, and that anything continuing on is just, it's unsustainable. And they've proven that from what I have heard. Not that I've actually seen it, so I'm take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, obviously. But from what I've heard, people are not impressed. It's not living up to the hype. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's because you overstayed your welcome. And now we are too big to fail, essentially.
Or too big to go on.
Or too big to go on.
Yeah, what threats are next? How do you raise the stakes even more?
Exactly.
I
where do
was
you go from there?
a good long time ago. I was really excited about the prospects of a prequel story in and around Black Widow as a Russian espionage super agent / officer, investigator, assassin. And it was like, wait a minute, that would have been in the 1980s. The 1980s are, in terms of nostalgia, super popular. Stranger Things and all the knockoffs accordingly. So you could do a full-on 1980s thing with a killer soundtrack reflective of the time period, you know what I mean, to go along with it, and it would have been a 1980s Cold War espionage thriller. But instead, it turned out to be what it was, which was, yo.
And I think it was much too late. Because she was already dead.
It's a prequel. She's still
It's
alive.
a prequel. Yeah, she's still alive in the prequel, but, like, who gives a shit? I mean, that's the least charitable way to say that. But why wouldn't you come out with that before you killed off the character? Because it's not
Order of contracts, basically, I guess. You know,
I guess.
you know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like
that irritated
contracts.
me because I would have loved to have seen a Black Widow movie. I think I did see like half of the Black Widow movie, and then I just kind of checked out halfway through because I was like, I don't care about this character, about anything about this. They did Natasha dirty. I'll say that. I ain't happy about it. No, they're not staying true to the characters. Cap, Shellhead, and Hulk are not who they are in the comics. I haven't actually seen She-Hulk, so I have no opinions.
It's the dialogue is very CW.
Oh no.
Supergirl level CW. I would argue it's Jennifer Walters, i.e. She-Hulk, is like fun time girl and twerking and the I don't know. It's just not faithfully rendered. And like, yo, if you own the rights, and comic book writers back then did not own copyrights of their own ideas, their own story arcs, characters that they've created.
Mm-hmm.
The list goes on and on. I mean, Todd McFarlane created Venom. He doesn't own any part of him. Marvel does.
Mm-hmm.
And a big character like that, because this is the way contracts were
Right.
back then. If you need good She-Hulk storylines, why are you writing original stories? Why are you writing original stories?
Is it an original story that they're writing for her?
Well, they're taking just like bits and pieces and then writing like a very current era woke story, like you know the whole cat calling thing, and it has all the earmarks of something produced in 2022.
Oh, boy.
If that makes sense.
Well, it makes sense because isn't the whole characterization of the Hulk supposed to be about a man like controlling his emotions and learning to do that in such a way that it doesn't kill the rest of the Eastern Seaboard? And telling a woman to do that is just no bueno. Telling a woman to control her emotions.
I hear you.
Thank you, S-Serpent21 for the $1.99. Which one is Thor? He's the one who makes jokes. Don't they all make jokes?
To an extent past that, which I think makes it I know a lot. I do enjoy a lot of them.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for...
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
I enjoy the quippiness, and Joss Whedon can write some good back and forth fun time bantziness, and there are a number of good lines. Whoa!
Oh God, cat! Whew. She tried to hop on the desk. She fell off the desk. She used my leg to claw. Ow! I'm gonna do nothing because I love you dearly, child. But holy fuck. She clawed right into my leg. Don't give me that. Up. Don't eat that. Go away. I don't want to see you right now. You made me sad in the leg. I love you forever, but I don't like you right now. Okay. I think I have suitably defended myself from further onslaught. Never mind. I lied. Anyway, Polly, continue.
Okay, so we were talking about bants and whatnot. High quality, crackling dialogue where
Yes.
there's no brutal exposition where one character is simply explaining the entire plot to someone else and thus to the audience, where it's not done in a masterful way or a high quality way where it doesn't seem that that's obviously what happens. Exposition hell, in other words.
Right.
A fun dialogue, and I mean fun in the sense of just the back. Okay, we watched The Confession.
Yes.
Great dialogue.
Ooh. That was like the whole thing. That was the whole movie.
Yeah, what else was there? Yeah, no, you got a point. It's what movie would you say, like, other than Confession, for example, and obviously not a superhero film because we've been talking about those for a hot minute, what dialogue has really encapsulated you? Was it, and the acting that goes along with it? Because it's the facial expressions and the gestures and the delivery that also count too, I think.
Am I allowed to say Pride and Prejudice?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I was just thinking, is it Pride and Prejudice? Because there was a hell of a lot of that in it, so sure.
Oh, yeah. I love the dialogue in that movie. It is peak, but okay, to be fair, they take a lot of the dialogue directly from the novel.
Mm-hmm.
And Jane Austen takes most of the credit there for that.
That's understandable.
She is a wizard of words. Now, I will say this. I have not actually seen the film, but they did do another adaptation of Jane Austen's novel, Persuasion. And they butchered the dialogue from what I have seen. So what I mean by this is, let me pull up examples. Persuasion dialogue differences. Images. Not quite what I meant. Jane Austen. Here's a Reddit post on it. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted.
All right.
You think Cowboy Bebop and Resident Evil's dialogues were bad enough? Netflix tried to Whedonize a Jane Austen adaptation.
Whedonize it. Ouch.
I guess that's the verb, or that's the adjective? Verb.
Yeah.
Adjective. Whatever. So the quote is, "Now I'm single and thriving. Now we're strangers. Worse than strangers. We're exes. Daddy's broke princess. Playtime's over. Because he's a 10. I never trust a 10. Now, does that seem like it's on par with the dialogue that we get in Pride and Prejudice?
Keira Knightley? No.
Yeah, with Keira Knightley.
A perfectly proportioned woman at all. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay, sure.
I'm just bugging you.
So let me try and find the actual quotes themselves, because they're much more impactful than this. Quotes. Now I'm single. It's really hard to type with a cat's tail over your keyboard, by the way.
I believe you.
Thriving. I wish I had known we were going to talk about this, because I would have prepared.
Excerpts ready.
I could have had prepared my excerpts for this conversation.
Yeah. It's all organic, ladies and gentlemen. There's no scripts here.
Right, there's no scripts.
It's fine. It's fine.
Not okay. I'm completely sober, by the way. despite the name of the stream, I am completely sober. Persuasion quotes. You know, Twitter's the best way to go for this. Because, everyone is angry over on Twitter. It's the best place to go. Okay, here we go. Got one. Okay, so the quote, now we're worse than exes, we're friends. The actual quote, there could have been no two hearts so open, no tastes so similar, no feelings so in unison, no countenance so beloved. Now they were as strangers, nay, worse than strangers, for they could never become acquainted. It was a perpetual estrangement. That says so much more than...
Perpetual estrangement.
We're worse than exes, we're friends.
Thank you for your patronage.
Again?
Thank you for your patronage.
Okay, now you're just doing it.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for...
Thank you, Keeper Dev. I appreciate that. They're like, we want to interrupt the stream. Specifically to do the thing. Yeah.
Right.
So, that is the level that we're working with here. The level of rewriting that we're working with here. I'm not happy about it. They can't keep getting away with this.
Thank you for your patronage.
I didn't do that one. That one was... Oh, the next 6 minutes. Okay, so you know what I think it is? I think it's the difference between Super Chats and Streamlabs. If you donate on Super Chats, I haven't calibrated the Streamlabs alert thingy appropriately, and that's, like, with the timer, I haven't calibrated appropriately, and that's why it does not stop after the first one. So I have to fix that. Thank you the next 6 minutes for the donation. I'm building a bat cave for myself and El Boyfriendo. We will make the streets of Gotham safe again. Look, the bat phone is flashing. Anyhow, besides fighting crime, I will be trying again to not suck at playing guitar. Any tips? Oh gosh, it's been a minute since I played guitar. I guess use YouTube videos to learn how to play songs, because that's how I learned how to play guitar. YouTube videos.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I know they're not the most popular videos on YouTube, but the DIY instructional genre for all the things, whether it's fixing a car, woodworking, assembly and disassembly of firearms for cleaning, that is some of the fucking most useful stuff on YouTube. And it's I don't know. YouTube isn't like, you know, what was it? Broadcast yourself was one of their taglines at one point.
I think so.
In any case, the amount of use that I've gotten out of DIY stuff, instructional stuff, reloading ammunition stuff, total gun nerd things.
Yeah.
I forgot how to always pay attention to something when you're taking it apart so you know how to put it back together, but sometimes men get in a rush.
Yeah. And
you know, you get the little hints. Okay, hold this thing off to the side when you're putting the bolt back in, and it'll slide, etc. I mean, that stuff is just pure fucking gold. And so I try my damnedest to have sympathy for all of the makeup channels. You know what I mean? Because in essence, they kind of fall into that category just with a lot of e-celebrity hype around them. But in essence, they really are DIY. So I try my best to understand them. Accept them, whatever you want to call it. Have you ever done an instructional thing off of YouTube? Anything?
I learned how to put my Beretta back together after I cleaned it.
Sweet. Nice.
So that's
perfect
one.
example.
I do use YouTube a lot to learn how to code certain things that I'm not 100% sure of. Because there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube for coding specific visual aspects and GUI elements that I'm not 100% on. Specifically...
Even Nuke YouTube. Even the unboxing videos are handy for putting stuff back into the box to return it. I like that. I like
Right.
that. Good luck figuring out how to put that shit back in. Yeah, I've been there.
Instructions for chainsaws. Do they have... Do you need instructions on chainsaws? I feel like that's pretty straightforward, though.
Really? What's the oil, diesel, gasoline mixture that you're going to put in because it's a two-stroke engine, Weebo? Or a lot of them are anyway.
I don't know, I just had my dad mix that combination for me.
It's fine. I'm just bugging you. I'm just bugging you anyway. I'd have to look it up myself.
No, you know what? I think he just
is
takes
it
regular gas
1-to-1?
and then he puts a bottle of whatever still concoction he's got in. I know that there's a specific way to do it. He's got like a gas can specifically labeled still gas.
Right.
For that reason specifically, because you're not supposed to put it in. I know this. He never taught me how to do that, so now I'm gonna have to ask him. Okay? Yeah. No, I don't need YouTube. I got my dad.
I don't need YouTube. I got a dad. Well, maybe that's the sad underlying commentary of everything that I've come to here.
There is actually a YouTube channel.
Hold on. Let me bring up that scren. Where is it? I'm working on fixing my problems, chat. Be patient. Be patient.
That's fine. I am Googling up this
There it
YouTube
is.
channel that I just remember existed.
Next 6 minutes. Thank you for the $2.42. Hey, Weebo. How was your weekend? Hello. Just kidding. Hey, Polly. How have you been? Terrible. Thank you for asking. Has the weather has been as weird in your area as it been as mine? Anyhow, how are you a tuna melt kind of guy? Anyway, are you a tuna melt kind of guy? Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, I am. I'm not a reading kind of guy. I am a...
Oh.
No, I enjoy a good toasted tuna melt. Damn right. Are you a fan, Weeba?
Is that when you have tuna on bread with melted cheese on top? Or something?
Yeah.
Never had that. I do like tuna, though. I'm a big fan of raw tuna, tuna fish salad, seared tuna, ahi tuna of any
seared
variety.
tuna.
Yeah. Big fan. Big fan.
Yeah. Tuna's the good stuff, man. So, I mean, we were talking about crackling dialogue, right? And I'd be remiss...
Right. How did we get to not that?
Yeah. I would be remiss if I didn't do a little Raymond Chandler here. Because, epic noir dialogue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Philip Marlowe's being followed by this guy for days. And he's finally had it because he comes home, long day. He's been blackjacked during that day over the back of the head. He just wants to lay down, read about a chess problem, and get some drinks and a few pipes in. And that fucker is parked down the street. So he decides to, you know what, I'm going to wait it out. In the morning, I'm going to confront this bastard. He does. The guy's still waiting there in the morning. So he does like 3-4 turns around the block. The guy does a really shitty job of following, making it obvious he's tailing him. So Marlowe loses him and then pulls up behind him and then walks up to his car to confront him. And he says, Marlowe's the name. You the guy that's been trying to follow me around for the past couple of days? I ain't following anybody, Doc. Well, your jalopy is. Maybe you can't control it. Have it your way. I'm going to go eat breakfast in the coffee shop across the street. Orange juice, bacon and eggs, toast, honey, 3 or 4 cups of coffee, and a toothpick. Then I'm going out to my office, which is on the 7th floor of the building, opposite right of you. If you have anything that's worrying you beyond your endurance, drop up and we'll chew over it. I'll only be oiling my machine gun.
That was confrontational.
What?
That was confrontational.
Well, yeah, he makes the point kind of subtly, doesn't he? It's just, I'm sick of your ass. I do love that line. I ain't following anybody, Doc. Well, your jalopy is. Maybe you can't control it. Love it.
I haven't heard the word jalopy since I stopped reading the Hardy Boy books.
Well, this book is from 1944, so.
What does it actually? You know what? What's a jalopy? Like, what does it look like?
It's a rundown, beat-up car. That's all it's referring to.
Really?
It's an older car that isn't working very well.
Oh. I thought it was like a type of car, like, you know, Chevy or something that had been discontinued, but no. Jalopy is a car together with different parts.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet that's part of it too.
Oh.
Or that is the main idea of it. It's a Frankenstein car. It's a piece of shit vehicle, in short. But yeah, maybe it does refer to a car that's all mismatched like that.
Cool. The more you know. You see, I would have just used that not like that. Because I would have assumed what I was always assuming. So, Polly, did you know that there is an actual YouTube channel called Dad, How Do I? Run by a guy whose dad, like, he never knew. For specifically people who don't have dads to ask the questions that you would ask a dad. And isn't that just so wholesome?
It is. I mean, that's also what, you know, CRP claims he's doing, and that goes horribly awry, doesn't it?
Right, but, like, okay, the idea is sound, and
Yeah, it is. The
if
general
it's
idea
done
is good.
well, like in this case, because it's not what CRP is doing. It's like, Dad, how do I change a tire? How do I shave my face?
Gotcha.
How do I use a
Tie a tie.
stud finder? You know, stuff that you would ask your dad. Not, Dad, how do I get my woman to do whatever I say in the bedroom? Like, that's what CRP does. That's what he caters towards, thought-wise, or, ideologically.
Thank you for your patronage.
Thank you. Thank you the next 6 minutes for the donation. Digging the Hawaiian shirt, by the way. I have several of my own. They are awesome, and Six looks awesome wearing them. High fives for awesome. I appreciate that, because this was Grandpa Jones's Hawaiian shirt before it was mine, so.
Oh, really? Nice.
Well, so when, Gomps, as we called him, passed away, he left behind a lot of stuff, because when you become 96, you have aggregated so many things in your life. So many. If you're not like a minimalist that gets rid of everything, even the sentimental stuff. So he's got all of this stuff in the house that he's lived in for a good 70 or so years or whatever with my grandma. And she's like, I have no use for this stuff. And I will be gone soon too, so we gotta start bequeathing it to all the grandchildren, of which there are 5. So she's just kind of like, here, go through your grandfather's clothes, see what you want. And I'm like, okay, because I fit in Gomps's clothes, actually.
Nice.
And, because he was about as tall as I am. Everyone else is so much taller than us. I don't get my height from my dad's side. Or I get my height from my dad's side, I think. It's okay. I'll live. Weebo's interested in using a stud finder. Yeah, how else am I gonna find a stud in the wall?
Knock on the wall until you hear a different density of wood.
I've tried that and it doesn't work. Maybe because I just am bad at it, but you know what? It didn't work.
And I mean, you've got centers, right?
Centers?
But how far apart the centers of the stud are consistent. They don't just like randomly put them into the wall.
Yeah.
So once you found one, the next one, if you have a tape measure, is going to be that distance from it. And there's a set of like 18-inch centers, 24-inch centers, usually 18. So, you know, you don't need to find them all through knocking. You just need to find a particularly hollow part of the wall somewhere near the center of the wall. right? And then knock and find that one, and then the little pencil X, doing pencil, not Sharpie. And
Yes, I know to do that. Like, that part is easy. It's the actual finding of, like, the initial stud that eluded me. Because I can't tell the difference between the sounds as hard as I tried to. I don't know if, like, all of those years of vocal training and pitch matching and whatnot just completely went to waste in the last 2 years since I graduated, like, or what. It just, I can't determine what sounds different from what else. Or maybe I just, like, barely missed the stud by, like, a half a centimeter or something. I don't know. It was... Or maybe the wall had no studs to begin with, because it was an interior closet wall. I don't know. But it was depressing as heck. Because I did try that. I was not successful. Strong
that's
magnet.
not a bad suggestion. Yeah, the magnet.
I could do that.
I'm sure there's a YouTube tutorial on it.
Not every building is made to code. Well, this one was made in the 70s, and it was made by Gomps, so I hope it's to code, because I'm living here. Hi, can I help you? Go to a corner. There are usually 2 2x4 there and work out. Okay, well, I'll do that the next time that I have to find a stud. But right now I'm good. I don't need to find a stud. I have a stud finder, actually. Dad gave me a stud finder.
Did he? Nice.
He did. He's like, I had spares. Why? He... when we moved, he couldn't find half of his tools initially, so he just went out and bought a whole bunch of extras. And then when he found the extras, he's like, okay, now I have 2 of everything. And that was how that worked out. So it worked out.
Makes sense.
Because all of the spares that he doesn't need, he's probably going to end up giving to me. So it works out for me. Go Dad.
What is going on here?
Y'all good?
I am. Just trying to figure something out.
Estate sales are great for getting tools. You know, that makes sense. I could probably make out with really good amount of tools that nobody wants and needs just showing up to an estate sale. Unfortunately, I don't have a place to put anything, so I can't really, like, stock up on all the things that I would presumably need or would be useful to have around. So I just kind of have to wait. Hurry up and wait. I will have a house eventually, though. Probably around... like, this time next year, give or take. That should be fun. Oh, I love going to auctions and flea markets and garage sales and estate sales. Those are so much fun. Polly, do you engage in that kind of shenanigans?
The only estate sales that I've ever purchased from are at gun shows.
Yeah.
Where all of the stuff on the table is clearly all of the stuff that somebody had. It's part of an estate sale that somebody, not like there's not their family members with the table at the gun show that's selling the stuff. It's somebody who went around and bought a bunch of stuff from various estate sales and then brought it over there. So it's like I said, it's one person's tools for reloading. So it'll be primers and random mixes of powder and dyes, and you get the idea. But this is one person's setup. It's clear, and you'll talk to the person for a second. They'll say, yeah, this is all from an estate sale. And yeah. I don't know. I always find that stuff kind of depressing.
Estate sales?
Yeah, because it's like, this stuff that you valued so much and spent so much time on, as soon as you die, they just all sell it off for as much as they can get for it. It's just inherently depressing.
Well, yeah, I mean, but the alternative is they get rid of it without selling it. Because, like, what are they going to do with it?
Well, ideally, And I understand this isn't always going to be the case, but ideally, you bequeath it to a family member or close friend or nephew or
Right.
nephew in the sense of like your godchild, whether it's official or not. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like yeah, you hand it all over, and then you can show them how to use it. If ideally you would do it before you pass away because you're short in time. And hey, listen, I don't really reload anymore, and I don't have a use for a lot of my rifles. I know your son is really into this, and he's like 19. It's like maybe you should start learning about shooting. He's interested. I could show him how to use all this stuff. That it's used is the best idea possible,
Right.
especially by someone who's close to you, because then it has meaning. Ideally. And you're right, the worst case scenario is that it ends up just being handed over to the police because they think it's dangerous or something. Like,
Right.
that's just,
But, like, in some cases, no one that is in the immediate, like, family or even friends of the family can make use of the thing because maybe they already have it, or that's not, like, their hobby. They'll never use it, so they don't want to take that on as just an extra thing, because eventually, yes, they'll keep it in the house for like 5, 6, 7, 10 years, whatever, and then they'll be spring cleaning one day and they're like, I've never made use of this. Yes, this was like Grandpa Joe's, but I have never used it. No one else has used for it, and then eventually they're just like, all right, we'll just Goodwill it or throw it out because they can't be bothered to actually drive to the Goodwill to donate the thing. But
So-
that is another worst case scenario, is it just gets tossed into a landfill somewhere.
yeah,
And
definitely worst case.
I would rather sell the thing, or I would rather have my kids sell the thing if they don't need it, so that they can at least, in some respect, make use of it for themselves, you know?
Yeah. So Jedi Ghost Bear, excuse me, hey, how's it going? Zed Hero says, an estate sale are usually people looking to downsize, at least in my area. I've always known estate sales to be after someone's died. I don't know, maybe I'm misusing that term. Like,
I thought that too, so you're not
because
alone.
I just kind of think garage sale, even if it's literally not in a garage. I've never heard of a downsizing sale, but you get what I mean. And then Daniel Fulman says at Goodwill, I found a photo album full of someone's family
Oh, God.
pictures. Very depressing.
That's
Damn!
depressing. Yeah.
Damn.
That does. So that weirds me out a little bit, or not weirds me out, but that concerns me a little bit, because my family has like oodles upon oodles upon oodles of pictures, footage, and film from generations past, like as far back as you could probably go film wise. We have something, picture, film, whatever. What happens to all of that when the last person who cares about it dies?
Yeah.
Ah!
That's why it's important to have godchildren, close friends, stuff along that line. Even if it's something so distant as, something at a local gun club that hey, you got a son you're trying to get into shooting. I got a lot of stuff and I don't have any family. Something. You know what I mean? I don't know. Well, I was about to say the Boy Scouts, but like they wouldn't let they don't even let them do archery anymore, for God's sake. So I don't know.
Well, it's such a big concern for me, that idea of like the photos falling out of memory, like, because they will exist, they will transcend the people that took them, obviously, but eventually no one's going to remember who that picture was of, unless you take careful steps to ensure that that person is remembered. And how do you do that? Well, you purposefully go and you go, this was your great aunt Josephine, this was your great uncle Roger, this was cousin Eddie with the weird hobbies. Like, unless you specifically point them out as that, and then give the people, the next generation, reason to remember that person as that person, and funny stories to pass down to their kids, they just die out. And there's no guarantee that they won't, because memory is a fickle thing. And it's just, eventually, you will be forgotten. That's terrifying. To me, anyways.
Really?
I don't know about anyone else. Wow, this got really dark and heavy super quickly.
Kind of is. But
So how would you go about circumventing that, I guess? Like, best efforts.
go about circumventing the photograph thing.
The fading into relative obscurity, or the thing fading into relative obscurity. Like, becoming that thing that someone finds at Goodwill that's super depressing.
Yeah.
Short history written on the back of photos. That's an option.
Yeah. Yep. That is a very good. Number of them is best inside of a photo album. Like, you didn't even need to write on the back of the photo, although that would work. Like a legend, if you know what I mean, in the back of the book.
Right.
On some nice card stock, so it can't be like torn out and lost, or just a slip of paper. A slip of paper. So excuse me. So it can be lost so easily. Yeah. There's nothing. You know what? I've never stopped to think about that before. Photo albums that have a fucking legend page. What the fuck is on every page? That's a good idea.
Yeah. I think that's why
Why the hell don't
scrapbooking
they
is so
have that?
important.
Maybe they do. I don't know.
Like, I gotta commend people who scrapbook. Who take the time to go through photos and pick out the ones that are, like, the most encapsulating of that moment in time. And then they go, okay, this person was here, this person was here, this was the date that this was taken, and this is the significance behind it. And also, funny anecdote that happened here. I'm like, yes. So I'm gonna be one of those
you know what the
people.
sad part is here? Let me get a little current year with you.
Uh-huh.
It's not gonna be photo albums. It's gonna be fucking hard drives.
Mm-hmm.
And assuming that somebody didn't, lose it or save whatever the fuck over top of them, you're gonna go through those photos and it's gonna be like, this is your great aunt Gertrude taking a selfie. Here's another one of your great aunt Gertrude taking a selfie. Here's your great aunt or Gertrude doing a keg stand. Here's her great aunt Gertie when she became non-binary. Here's 2 years later when she got her senses. Here's like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it just could be endless. Film slows you down. Like, actual physical film slows you down in terms of how many pictures you could take. So you tend to, everybody get together for a particularly important photo, that kind of thing.
Right.
Family photos at family events and stuff. But if you think about, like, even I've been to like cookouts with like good friends and family and stuff, and the amount of, I'm not a picture taking guy, but there are people who are, and I take a few pictures, who the fuck are all these people? It's like, I don't know, somebody that was at the barbecue. You know what I mean? So many people photobombing other people's fucking photos, say things. I don't know. I think the family photo album is a 1990 and back kind of thing.
I have a photo album of mine and El Boyfriendo's relationship on that shelf, and then there is my photo album of like the first 2 years of my life on that shelf. And then there are other photo albums of like family members that I've taken the time to go, okay, this is this person, this person, this person on the back of. Even though I wasn't really cognizant at that point in time to remember the date or the event that was at. I just know the people in those pictures. Just because, like, I find that significant, and I think it's important to remember that. Especially as I get older, because I'm watching my grandmother slowly lose all of her memories specifically, but all of her other broader faculties, and it's kind of terrifying, right? But the thing that she has to cling on to is all of these home movies and pictures and people that she knows today and stories that she's got. And so she's like clinging on for dear life, and it's definitely helping her, I think. And so it's as much for me as it is for my ego. So I don't die that second time when the last person forgets about me. It's all me related. It's all for the benefit of me. No, but it does, the whole idea of being forgotten, or forgetting, terrifies me on some level. Yeah, and don't forget to hit the like button, chat.
You're depressing me, Weebo.
I'm sorry. Weren't you talking about the movie Coco earlier? Didn't we just go full circle about forgetting people? We did, in fact. Oh, wow.
Yes,
Aren't
we
we
did.
great? And on that note, do you want me to stop? We can stop. We can do something less depressing.
Yeah, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark, though.
We are. Actually, we passed it 5 minutes ago.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so remaining questions in chat, and then we'll wrap her on up.
Yeah, sure.
How's that for a plan?
That sounds great.
Yay.
Oh, on another note, Ancestry program allows you family tree with photos. Speaking of interest, Ancestry programs, would you ever consider doing one of those things where you, like, genetically determine genetics? I don't know, family members, stuff like that.
Hold on, what are you asking? Like a 23andMe for me personally, or
Yeah,
what do you mean? I have thought about it, but after the excuse me, in undergrad, after doing an extended thesis project on well, there was an earlier one that was on IQ tests, and then a later one that was much more expansive upon polygraphs. And what I came out of there in terms of my credulity regarding the methodology of the way that those machines operate and the systems that created the tests operate. If I were to do a 23andMe, I would want to send off a sample under a fake name to always send it off under a fake name, to at least more than one. And you'll never get a proper sample size of 26, but whatever. It 2 or 3 would be nice, because I'd want to see how fucking close they are. Because if they weren't even remotely close, throw them out. Out of your mind, at least, like as being significant. Toss the significance of them. You know, I've got 1% Sub-Saharan African, I've got 30% Eastern European, and then, you know, the next test comes back and the results differ wildly. I mean, there are, people didn't grow out of dirt, if you know what I mean. It's like, it's localized areas, and, you know, everybody knows that. They're just like, these genetic markers are most common to this area historically. And then what about these other ones? They're unknown, so they apply a geographic region to them. I mean, lots of people have talked about that in different YouTube videos and stuff like that. The flaws in something so commercial as 23andMe or one of the other options. Right. I have thought about doing it, but I would want to do 2 or 3 at one time. And here's something I don't know. How much does that shit cost?
Oh, it's expensive. I can't justify the cost even if I were to do it. I think it's like anywhere between 70 and 130 for one test, I'm pretty sure.
Oof. Okay.
23andMe test cost. Oh. It's on sale for $59 for Labor Day. Yeah, you can get 45% off your Ancestry DNA kit from myheritage.com. Nice. Cool.
I can tell you this much, because family history in terms of, this is just my opinion, no one needs to agree with me, and probably shouldn't. If family tradition and family trees going back have a significance from whence you came, 23andMe, what is it exactly beyond curiosity and vague intellectual interest that you are garnering from this? If that makes sense.
The genetic testing aspect is one of its selling points. And that's significant because your genetics...
Or genetic disorders?
Yes, your genetics can tell you what you might be predisposed to develop later on in life.
Sure.
So for instance, like, my mom had breast cancer. Now, I could take a genetic test tomorrow that tells me, hey, you have X amount of chance of developing breast cancer based off of certain things that you get from your mom. And that's just that. Or there's diabetes on my dad's side, and my genetic test could come back and tell me, oh, hey, you have X amount of chances of developing diabetes in your lifetime. Of course, you know, there are other environmental factors, but those genetic tests inform your likelihood of developing the thing. And so you can make more informed medical decisions going forwards. Or lifestyle decisions going forwards based off of that information.
Yeah.
So that would be one of the appeals for doing it. Now that's for 23andMe. The internet tells me that apparently if you intend to do some hardcore ancestry research, or if your primary goal is to find long-lost relatives, other tests like Ancestry DNA or Family Tree DNA might be a better option for you. So for the first one, if you're super into genealogy, obviously, you'd want to, you know, do more research, you'd do the DNA test. But if, say, you wanted to find long-lost relatives, like you were an adoptive kid.
Freedom.
6 minutes. Thank you for the $1. I took the Ancestry, 23andMe, Family Tree, and National Geographic test back in 2014. Interesting. They all differed, but not substantially in percentages. Love to talk about it sometime. Yeah, actually, that would be interesting to hear about the differences there.
So what was I saying? Oh, finding long lost relatives. So if you're like adopted, and you have no information about the people that you come from, those are a good way to get an answer on who you came from. Maybe. Of course, it requires, because their databases collect from sources, you can only find the person if that person has submitted.
Daniel Fulman, you win the chat for the day. Quickest way to find out about relatives? Win the lottery.
That's true, too. But, like, my mom was adopted. She had a long-lost brother that she didn't know about until... She didn't take an ancestry test, but I think someone got in touch with her about it.
That would be amazing to find out about a long-lost cousins and brothers and sisters and half-brothers and sisters and whatnot. That would be incredible.
Yeah.
No question.
I've never met my grandpa on my mom's side, so it could be. It could be super interesting, or it could be disappointing. Like,
you know, having listened, excuse me, let me say it again.
Yeah.
Having listened to girls for years and years talk about this stuff, when and if I'm a grandfather, granddaughter comes over, I'm going to be that guy, because I'm that dude that probably unwisely refuses to let sleeping dogs lie in terms of awkward things that are best kept not said. I just fucking say them. So my granddaughter comes over. I would ask her, it's like, do you want to be here? Because I get the feeling that you don't. And it's not because of anything you've done personally. It's just that I've known a lot of really ill-tempered women throughout my life. And I'm not saying that you're ill-tempered, but you do spend a lot of time on your phone. Also, does my house smell weird to you?
Wait, why did what I say inspire that hypothetical conversation?
I'm just saying. Like, the idea of, like, because you say, like, oh, I don't even know.
Well, I say that because, like, my mom was adopted. She never knew her birth father at all. And from what I understand from the birth grandma, like, there's a reason they're not together. So, I don't know. And then what I understand from my long-lost uncle, there's a reason they don't talk. So, yeah, it could be very disappointing.
Yeah. I've
I've
just heard so many girls complain, like, I gotta go to my grandfather's place. I fucking hate it. There's nothing to do, and his fucking house smells weird. And
I never had that experience.
What's that?
I never had that experience with either of my grandfathers.
No?
Of
That's
the
good
two
to
that
hear.
I met, because technically I have 3 sets. That's what happens when you have an adoptive mom. Yeah, no, the two grandfathers that I do knew, that I did know, they were pretty chill. Like, they didn't talk much, but that was okay with me, because they just let me do whatever I want. But they were pretty cool. We could be cousins the next 6 minutes. I could have a lot of cousins and uncles out there that I don't know about. And that would track with, Grandpa Jones? No. Yes. No. No. Because that's on my mom's side. So Smith? I don't know. Anyway, we've done an atrocious job about responding to questions, Polly.
Oh my God, have we ever? Yeah, good point. But I don't see a lot of question marks here. Hold on. Let's not
Right,
be
where
like
are these
that.
question marks, chat? Come on, come on. Yeah, I don't see a whole lot of question marks. Chat! This message is out for reviews.
Well, there you go. All
There
right,
you
thank
go.
you, Snoopy. This is made up for the
Appreciate it so much.
lack of question marks.
Where's Daniel Fullman when you need him?
Yeah, there's the fucking surplus we were looking for.
Now, I will say I'll probably never do the DNA tests in the... Well, actually, you know what? I might do the genetic testing just to have an idea of what issues I might be facing health-wise. But I haven't really come to a decision on that. Because, like, once you know, that's always at the back of your mind.
Impending doom and whatnot.
Yeah, and I am the type of person to ruminate on that to some degree. So, I think I might not want to, but at the same time, now I have that at the back of my mind of going, oh, I could do this. And what if there is something there? Wouldn't you want to know Weebo? So I haven't come to his decision yet. I'm postponing it. Maybe I need to give it more thought, you know?
Yep.
The other thing that hangs me up on that is, do I really want to send my genetics to a database where the government can access it? And...
I know, a few people said that in chat. That's why you send it in under a fake name.
Right.
At least I think so.
I don't know if the, if that would work out as well as you think it would. I don't know, because, like, I don't know what the process is, like, what is involved in the process of the sending it in, you know? Like, would they reject it if it doesn't match up with certain aspects that you submitted?
What do you mean? What do you submit that it wouldn't match up?
I don't know. Like, do they ask for your social security number, like a credit check?
Oh my
like...
God, what the fuck do they need to...
Like, no, we need to make sure your genetics match up with who you are as a person. Like, no, like, do they take your identification in to confirm that this is in fact you and not someone else's genetics? Like, I don't know.
Let me tell you something.
I've never done it, so I have no clue.
Any genome analysis, genetic analysis company that's insistent upon knowing your social security number and your address and your near relatives and whether or not you're an organ donor, fuck them, go somewhere else.
Polly, they will have my genetics on file and a history of possible, like, issues that could arise based off of my genetics and who I am probably connected to genetically for the next, like, 12 half-cousins. I don't know.
And
it
so
does
therefore,
not, to me, seem like a wild transition from that to... It's literally a database of your genetics.
right. And why would you want some company that can, like,
no, I don't want that.
monetize that? Oh,
I don't want that. I'm saying that
okay.
it feels a lot like...
Go on.
Like, I know people aren't supposed to have access to your social security number, but the government regularly or to some degree of regularity, ties people to
Thank you
crimes
for
based
your
off of this
patronage.
genetic data.
Right.
They have the social security numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my mind, there is some conspiracy between the two organizations. Like, you help us solve these crimes, and we'll give you this information that you shouldn't have. I don't know. It's just, like, I'm, like, conspiratorially about it, you know.
And we'll let you know what disease you're suffering from? What is that?
I don't know.
Oh.
I haven't worked out the conspiracy fully in my head, but,
Mm.
you know, I will eventually. And then I'll blow your brain, your mind. Thank you, Otter von Biznich, who donated $3 to say penis.
Nice.
Appreciate the donation. Weebo clones. That's another thing, too, is they have clones of me. So, obviously, there would be even more incentive for them to collect social security numbers and identification information, because then they could more easily replace me in my existence. And that would not be good.
And this worries you.
Greatly.
Ah.
See, the plan is all coming together. I'm doing it all for them. Actually, that would make for an interesting apocalyptic dystopian sketchy novel for young adults. It's a half-baked idea, and that's why it would be the best. It's because it's not fully fleshed out, and so
Yeah.
the young adult demographic wouldn't care. They're just like, as long as we have a love triangle, we're good.
Well, I don't know. Insurgent didn't have any kind of love triangle.
I really thought that they had. Speaking of
We
which,
knew.
we still have to watch that last movie.
That's right, we do.
Weebo, book update. I am very nearly at 30,000 words. I'm like less than 100 words away from 30,000 words for the lore. And it is chugging along. So I'll have a better update for you at a later date. But right now, I'm reevaluating a whole lot of things about one species of the characters that I created. And that's okay, because they're still, like, in their brainstorming phase, so it's fine. That's the whole point of the process. Trust the process. Okay, Polly.
All right.
Before we get too worked up, do you have anything that you would like to show?
Just the AAA this week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Drunkle's channel on Monday, mine on Wednesday, Sinatra's on Friday. Come on by, it's a good time. Bands, news, and games.
Very good, very good, very good, very good. Any content?
I actually have been fucking around with Photoshop before we got on stream here for some future content that I am working on. So, yes, but it's a secret project.
It's a secret project?
It's a secret project.
You're not going to tell me after the stream?
I guess I could.
That is not that secret, is it?
Well, okay, then I won't.
Wait, no, I'm curious now.
Okay, you just gotta burn that bridge, lady.
I want my cake, and I want to eat it too. Okay, well, I have several things in the pipeline, nothing concrete yet, but I hope to have something for you within the coming 2 weeks. So, there's that. But I
Very
do
nice.
have side quests to show tomorrow and Friday, even if I'm not on either one of those, which I don't plan to not be, so I will be, so catch them. 7 p.m. Central Standard Time over on the Wicked Guild channel. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I will see you then. Are we doing cocktail hour next week? Unless we're not. Are we?
What? I'm sorry, I missed the first part.
Are we doing cocktail hour next week?
Yeah, I don't know why not.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
Was there a reason that we weren't?
No, I was just making sure. Oh, it's 9/11.
Do you want to do a 9/11 theme stream?
I wasn't gonna theme it. What would the theme, like, would it be a serious 9/11 stream, a meme 9/11 stream, a conspiracy theory 9/11 stream. Like, should I be entertaining this idea at all?
I don't know if we wanted to. Wow. We were saying some things were fucking depressing. Holy shit.
I just realized it. Yeah, we'll figure out how to handle that later. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, we can do a stream that day. Unless you don't want to.
I don't know. Yeah, we should. I don't know. Maybe there's a way we can do it. It's not exactly a chill conversation, is it? But I don't know. Something.
We don't have to talk about 9/11. We can literally talk about anything else. I'm just saying that is the day that is. So. Demolition theme. Oh my god. Jim Beam. Jam. Yeah, no, we can brainstorm a little bit if you want.
All right.
Or we can just do what we do and just...
No, we'll brainstorm. We'll
Okay.
figure something out.
Cool. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lizard people of all ages, I have been Weebo, this has been Polly, this has been Cocktail Hour. And we have been your hosts. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place, same honor, same face. Laters!
All right. Have a good night, all.
Bye! Nice.